How do I create shelf buttons in Maya? Well, one, you could create your own shelf if you have the shelf UI element on. If you don't have it on, you can go to Window, UI elements, and then turn on shelf, or use the space bar over the viewport and hold it to go to see the hotbox, and make sure on the right side of this quadrant or the east, and in an empty space, left click and hold, and you can choose shelf if it's not visible. But here it's visible. So you could click on the bottom left icon of the shelf and with the left mouse button and choose new shelf. And then in the pop-up window of the create new shelf, you put in the name. I'll call this my_shelf and press OK. And it'll create this new shelf here called my_shelf. And you just toggle between your different shelves. I'll go to my shelf here. If you want to add a button, for example, if I want to create a polygon cube, you could go to create polygon primitives. And before you select the cube, if you hold Ctrl and Shift at the same time and then left click, it will add it to the current selected shelf. That's why you have to make sure the shelf you wanted to add it on is on here. And you could go in and then you could save all shelves and it will be saved. So you have to close Maya. And then when you reopen it, when you close, it's going to make all those saved changes in your preferences. And when you reopen it, it's going to remember it. If you don't save it before you close it or it crashes, you might lose your shelf, your shelves and the buttons you add onto it. So now you just left click and it will create the cube there. So you could add, not just create cube, you could add other things. So if I just, let's say, move this and let's say rotate it, there's a button to reset, which you have selected. If you go to modify reset transforms, that's going to reset the translate, rotate, and scale of your selected object. If I press Control and Shift and left click on my mouse over there, so now I have that button on the shelf. So if I select this and press it, it's going to reset all those values for me. You could also add onto the shelf script. What you add in the script editor over here. So if I click on that button down here, the script editor, and this opens the script editor. By default, you have Mel and Python. So you have Mel is the original coding language or scripting language that was created for Maya. And Mel is kind of Python is another actual language, a coding language. It used to be scripting, and it's wrapping Mel commands into it. So we're going to use the original Mel in this case. And one of the commands is all lowercase sphere and then semicolon. And I'll select this and delete it first. So if I select it, highlight it, and then hold Control and then Enter on your regular keyboard, or you can press Enter on your numeric keypad. But if I press Control and Enter, it's going to create a NURB sphere. That's the command to create it. So let me undo that. If I delete this, make sure you're hovering over the viewport and delete it. So I select this, and if I use my middle mouse button, click and hold it and drag it over to the shelf like this, now it creates a button for me. So if I want to create any script that I create in here, I can make it a button, and then I can press it, and it will create or execute that script. You could go in and go into shelf editor, and you could customize the name of these buttons and the icons as well. You could also take everything you do in Maya is actually outputted into the history up here on the output up here. So let me delete this. You could delete history by clicking this top one, or you could go to history. Well, I'll just click this button up here, and it will clear out the output history. So now it's just easier for me to see everything I'm doing in here. So if I go in, let's say, create a cylinder, a polygon primitive cylinder, and then let's say I go to move. See right now, that's the command to create the cylinder. And these slashes are just comments. It's just giving you information. They're not actual commands. They're human readable to give you notes to understand what's happening. The double slashes there. So that's the move command. And then if I take rotate and I rotate it, this is the rotate command. All these commands are in Mel. So If I highlight them all and middle mouse button click and then drag it onto my shelf and ask me what type of script it is, these are by default MELs. So I'll rate that, which is MEL stands for Maya Embedded Language, I believe. So now that's up there. Again, it'll be better if you go and rename these things. So if I select this, let's say, and delete it, I could get rid of this history or this script editor. Now this is the button I created. If I click on it, it will do all those commands. It will create the cylinder, move it, and rotate it. It just shows me the end result right here. And if you want to delete a button that you put on your shelf, you right click on it and choose delete, and it will get rid of it. And as I was mentioning before, if you create a lot of, let's say, scripts or icons that don't, if you make a script, it by default makes this icon, you might not know what they mean. So what you could do is go click here, go to shelf editor, and then you have on the left all the shelves, the names of the shelves that you have up here. And the one I named was my shelf, so I select that. And then these are the names. By default, it's like the command or the label of the shelf here. So if I go on to this one, that's the code that I created that makes the polygon cylinder, then move it, and then rotate it. If you go down to icon label, I could call this, let's say, my sil. Well, you could put in a name, but the thing is you only have a certain amount of letters before it gets truncated. I'll show you what I mean, and I say save all shelves. Then it will create a label under it. But as you can see, it can't put all the letters in there, so you might want to use short names like this, like RT for what they use when they created the reset transform. So you might want to think of naming conventions or short names for your own icons. You could also go in and change the icon yourself. See, the icon by default is here. You could go in here and make your own custom icons as well. And if some parts of this felt a little too fast, or you're not quite confident using the tools just yet, that's totally okay. The 3D Character Accelerator was made to fix that problem fast. If you're a complete beginner, we walk you through everything step by step so you can create portfolio-ready 3D character models in just 14 days, even if you've never used Blender before. If you're already a bit more experienced, this program will help you sharpen your workflow, learn faster ways to sculpt and render, and create characters that actually stand out online. You'll find the link in the description. Check it out, see if it's a good fit, and decide from there. Thanks again for watching. Hope you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one. If you found this helpful, give it a like, drop a comment to share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe. Enable notifications to stay updated on future videos.